The third key aspect of good learning design are design principles. So let's review 10 principles. These principles are all rooted in science. They're rooted in neuroscience, educational psychology. They're rooted in cognitive psychology. Some are rooted in philosophy and anthropology. These are all proven, rooted in science. If you follow these principles, you will get 10 times the outcome of traditional e-learning. So let's go with the first principle. This is number one by far, social and active. So we study very closely sociocultural theory of how people learn. And that's what underpins the best of online because it brings out the humanity in people. Connecting people to content can be difficult, sometimes flat, sometimes boring. But connecting people to people and using content as a lens through which they engage in real work, solving problems, teaching and learning from each other and from experts inside and outside the company, generating, spreading ideas, and sharing new knowledge that's generated in the space. That's what happens in a socio-cultural learning environment. So social and active learning, structured dialogue, idea tournaments, problem-based learning, project-based learning, those are the keys to great learning design, connecting people together and getting them to do something. So that's why that's number one. It's sociocultural, social and active, number one principle. The second principle, strongly rooted in science, is practice and feedback. The number one way to develop expertise and achieve expert performance is through deliberate practice in a feedback-rich environment. It's been proven in sports, it's been proven in games, it's been proven in business, it's been proven in just about every field of study ever known to man. Deliberate feedback or deliberate practice in a feedback-rich environment. So that's the second key principle. So those two of all 10 are the most important foundational principles in everything that we hold sacred because they are the future of how people learn. They're the future. These are the roots of great organizational learning, not individual learning. Organizational learning, huge difference. So social and active, practice and feedback, those are the principles 1 and principle 2. So critical. The next one is to remember that learning and developing expertise or developing mastery, being good at anything, it's a journey, not an episode. So to design a learning intervention that has an end with no space for practice and no space for getting better and no space for feedback is really a recipe for failure. It just isn't going to work, or you're going to get very limited knowledge. You will not get behavior change. Okay, so now with those three principles, those are sort of our keys: social and active, practice and feedback. It's a journey, not an episode. Now let's move on into the digital learning environment. Now I'm working on software user experience design. There are a couple of key concepts from neuroscience that are really important here, and I'm going to give you 3. So number 4 on our list of 10 learning principles is chunking and linking. So if I'm going to take a long learning journey, let's say it's a 3-day workshop or a 5-day workshop. I'm going to take a 5-day workshop and spread it out over 5 weeks and only do 3 hours a week for 5 weeks and get my 15 hours that way, or my 20, 30 hours. However, I'm going to break it up into smaller chunks. Specifically inside a course, I'm going to chunk and link things like lectures or key concepts. So I'm not going to tape and give you an hour lecture. I'm going to give you 5-minute lectures because I'm going to chunk them into lecturettes and link those together into bigger pieces. And so that helps drive engagement. The next principle is multimodal. So when I chunk and link, I'm going to switch modes. So think of modes as learning activities. So you might read something, you might watch something, reflect on something, join a discussion, jump into an idea tournament, problem solve. Those are activities by mode shifting. So every 5 minutes or so, we like to see mode shifting, and that's multimodal theory blended with chunking and linking theory. That drives high engagement. When we're building digital learning, you want to build amazing digital learning, you've got to drive engagement. You need people to persist over time, and that's very hard. The bailout rates on massive open online courses, 85, 90%, 95%, depending on the research on any given day, bail. They don't finish the course because they can't stick with it long enough. So we've got to chunk and link, chunk it into small pieces and link them together so that we're building progress. And we've got to make sure that it's multimodal, so we're constantly changing and shifting. Do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. And by shifting back and forth, we can create an engaging environment. There's also a principle in neuroscience called spacing as opposed to massing. So Massing would be, let's get everything together and mass it into a single day of learning. Spacing is a concept of letting that breathe. And how about 30 minutes a day or maybe up to an hour a day maximum, and leaving space and then come back at it again later and try to remember and retrieve some of that information from your brain, from your long-term memory store, and have deliberate practice and feedback. So space things out is really good learning design. Massing it together for a long online Zoom meeting is not good practice and will result in low impact learning outcomes. So blending synchronous and asynchronous, principle number 7, is making sure that there are things you can do at any time, pace, or place, followed by some live meetings where there is a time and virtual place to be, where there's a live conversation. You're getting a live human component, and blending asynchronous dialogue with synchronous dialogue and conversation, doing both, is best practice, will lead to amazing digital learning outcomes. So do that. Principle number 8 is scaffolding. Scaffolding is providing extra capabilities to the students. So the way you stretch them into learning is you provide human scaffoldings. It could be in the form of a job aid or a tool of some kind. It could be a coach by your side helping you to practice. But a scaffold extends the range of capability of a person. So this is a really important concept in sociocultural theory, is we want to give people the job aid, something to remember, come back and try this, or print this out, or keep it on your desk, or here's a wallet card, or here's a hotline, or here's a community of practice to access. The scaffold is an important component of extending the reach of how people learn. Principle number 9 is the progress principle. So it's really important when we work on this journey over time that people feel like they're making progress against a broader goal. It might be the achievement of a badge or a certificate or a degree, or building a capability that matters to the organization, senior leaders, or matters to the culture. It's really important to feel forward progress. When the feeling of progress falls away in a participant, so does their completion rate and their follow through. And they never get to formally cement those habits that are so crucial to building the capability the business needs for the future. So we've got to build in space for progress. With the coaches help cement those habits, and they have to have progress markers, rewards, recognition, achievements, a feeling of success together with a group. Crucially important. Finally, my favorite principle. So I told you my first favorite principle is number 1, which is the sociocultural theory that roots everything we do in this business, and it's everything I hold sacred, and everything why I started CorpU, and everything that's infused in our digital learning platform is the sociocultural theory, social and active. And number 10 is what we talk about in our company every day, all of our employees, all of our management meetings. So this is the most important, maybe the second most. You can debate it. Number 10 is magic moments. So what are magic moments? Magic moments are that every single participant touch point, we try to create a magic moment. How can we create a magic moment when they search and discover our program? How about when they register? Where's the magic moment in the registration? Where's the surprise and delight? That lights up different parts of the brain and gets people excited. In the course, when I'm in the formal program or the informal community practice, where am I hitting them with a job aid? How do I architect in that aha moment that's life-changing? So we celebrate at CorpU, we get these every single day. We call them magic moments, where somebody gives us feedback, this changed my life. Now we deliver tens of thousands of these types of programs every month. So we have a lot of volume, so we get a lot of magic moments, and we're trying to architect them in. So as you're working on great learning design, architect in a magic moment. Think about, where's the aha moment? Where's the light bulb going on? How will you build those into the program? They make all the difference in the world in terms of impact, in terms of persistence and follow through and progress. Those magic moments are the life-changing things that grab somebody and say, I found a new passion. I found a new love. I want to go do this. So try and architect them. So let's review them real quick. The guided learning journey design principles. So these are the principles for amazing digital learning. Number 1, social and active. Number 2, practice and feedback. Number 3, it's a journey, not an episode. Number 4, chunk and link. Number 5, multimodal. Number 6, spaced, not massed. Number 7, blend synchronous and asynchronous learning. Number 8, be a scaffold. Number 9, the progress principle. And number 10, please design in magic moments. Those are your 10 key design principles for amazing digital learning.